And actually, our last female inmate to come here was this young lady, Annie Bruce. She was only 14 years old when she came here, and she got released when she was 18 years old. She did 2 years here, is when they got shipped out to Kansas City, Colorado. She did 2 years there, and she got released when she was 18 years old. She actually poisoned her father with rat poison, making plum pie. The dad ate it, got those heart and lungs, and he died shortly after. This young man on this wall, Stanley Hudson, he was only 16 years old when he came here. The second time he came here, he changed his name to William Stanley, and he was 19 years old. The third time he came here, he changed his name to William Stanley Hudson, and he was 24 years old. Then the final time he came here, he changed his name to John Kirby, and he was 30 years old. So apparently he liked to come to his prison a lot. He did actually write a book, which is A Sweet Smell of Sagebrush. It talks about the whole prison life he had here. It is available in my gift shop as well. I don't know if you noticed in the museum, we did film a movie here. The movie was filmed on site in 1987. The movie wasn't released until 1988. The movie is called Prison. It was with Viggo Mortensen's first movie ever made here as well. You've seen Lord of the Rings, it plays Aragorn's main As soon as you pull the lever down, they're all unlocked. You guys can take a peek if you want.
And they weren't in there all day, so.
Yeah, they were in their cells most of the day. Only at nighttime is when they were in their cells.
557. That's more room than I got on submarine.
I believe you.
I had less room.
Where's the criminals in that
You know,
prison?
I think our prison is really strict, actually. Approximately 25 guards were in duty in this whole prison.
But they'd have these cages and they'd be in there with the guns pointed at them. One bad mood and
Here's the neighbors that someone that I would have had up.
Yeah. These cells were added on in 1930. There were 5 of them here. These were called the trustee cells. If you were a trustee inmate, you had a lot more freedom and a lot more privileges as well. You were a trustee for wearing a solid gray top and a solid gray bottoms. You did all the maintenance here. Whatever the guard told you to do, you would do it. And you see your cells. At first, they kept 3 people per cell. This is your original artwork. It was done by an inmate, actually. The inmate left his initials and number through everybody. You would check out book, go back to your cells, bring up a check-out book. They stayed in cover hole with a comfy insurance. The inmate, he drew smiley faces.
The sad and amazing thing is that there wasn't hot water in here until 1978.
Oh my God.
Very cold.
Cells had light bulbs in them. If you would unscrew the light bulb and stand up all the way in the back, you could not be seen at all. This is where most of the bad inmates would stay at.
Yep, you're invisible.
I bet you can still see my white shirt.
No,
Not really.
no,
nothing.
you're invisible.
This is the very block, as you can call it, trustees in training. Those first 2 rooms were the solitary confinement rooms. If you were a bad inmate who acted up a lot, you were shoved in there for a week. You were fed once a day, you were stripped fully naked actually, and if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go on the floor. They later changed it into a laundry room, so if you look at there, that's why that sink is there. And if you look all the way up top, if you see those red railings, that was where all the new inmates would stay at. That was called the fish cave. New inmates are known as fresh fish. Oh, you're dead. My phone went off very much. You know the focus on the ball player wrestlers? You wouldn't mess with me.
1960.
These were the cafeteria and bakery were added on in 1915 as well. This is where you cooked all the food. When we first opened, we didn't have any electricity, no hot water, or no heating systems either. Electricity didn't come until 1930. Hot water and heating systems didn't come until 1975. So this is the warmest place you could be at. And these are the trays we used as well. If you were smart enough, you can make weapons out of these as well. These are actually pretty heavy trays. You can actually knock someone out there. I'm going to pass it around.
Yeah.
Only one inmate actually did this. This one right here. He did this painting in, I have to say, 1963. I believe he was the artist who did all the painting here in this room. The warden asked him to paint this, so he did. Though one of his famous paintings, if you see those two big.
It's just the coloration in the face. That is really cool.
In 1960.
That's great.
And they were known as a tear runner. Any guess? Why do they call it tear runner? They would either fill up from the faucet or the sinks, and you were given 2 cups of hot water, and they would hand you it right through this hole. You can see the other cells have it too. You can either shave with it, do whatever you want to do.
No, they should just left the prisoners there.
This here is the factory yard. We had 4 factories. A broomstick factory, a license plate factory, a cotton t-shirt factory, and a wool blanket factory. But however, when the movie company came in, they decided to damage this whole prison, so they tore this all down.
The company didn't tear it down.
They didn't tear it down?
No.
What?
Originally, the state that had this place slated for demolition started with the factory. They tore it down. Thought it was going to be too expensive, so they just abandoned the site.
They were going to tear down.
I don't believe the counseling center here was added on until the 60s. So, no mental health problem. Went to the chaplain maybe.
Sure.
Now their mental health program is pretty good. I'll step down here and look in and see how it's all set up. That they kept extra roommates in, and occasionally people who were misbehaving before they added on C block. There's an above room for where the gallows were. People would stand there. That's where they would wait their death. So they would be reminded that their death was coming every day because it was right there in the room with them.
In Moundsville, they have electric chairs the prisoners built.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a cell there that the prisoner was kept in.
But in this case, you had to stand from back here. So if you made it, you have to go get the ball yourself and you would be shot. If you missed it, then sorry, you missed it. You can't get the ball. It was pretty much hard practice for the guard. So if you just head straight down. These cells were the punishment cells. These, if you were to touch any of these fences, they were ran by electricity, so if you touch it, you would be shot. And these were concrete beds as well. And you were given a mattress pulled on a leg. If you lost all your privileges, it was taken right away from you and you had to sleep on the hard surface. And they'll slide your chair right underneath to you, and as soon as you're done with your food, they'll just slide it right back. We had an inmate who stayed in this very cell. His name was Julian Gallows. He thought he was smarter than the warden. He actually snuck into the warden's office and said if he could. The warden, as soon as the warden showed up to his office, I think he said, let's have a little talk. He explained. The warden didn't listen to him, sent him right back to his cell. He wanted to escape, actually. He decided to make himself a homemade bow cannon, try to break himself out of the cell, ricochet off the cell, and he injured himself. So apparently he went a smart path. And that's why that fence is in good. The other inmates and guards didn't know if he was dead or not because he just stood there. Didn't say a word. So they took him to the infirmary and fixed him up. You could get a kindergarten degree to a high school diploma, so you can graduate from here. And sometimes teachers from the Carbon County School District here in Roswell will come down and volunteer and teach the inmates. The old hole, that was probably the worst punishment you could get. What I wanted to do in their free time. We had an incident happen in 1975. There was a guard on duty. His name is Orville Bentley. I finally got his name right. Yeah. Orville Bentley was on duty. He went up there to see what was going on. He found out that 4 inmates got drunk of the ferrotoxin from the barbershop. 2 of the inmates broke the pull sticks, stabbed the guard 14 times, and pushed down Officer Bentley all the way down to the bottom of the stairs and lifted him to die right there. After that incident happened in 1975, they closed down the record and it was never used since.